and everything, especially on the end where we,
Yeah.
try and get them right.
Get answers to things before.
Well,
That makes sense.
I'm not
No, I mean, it's.
I'm not questioning tired.
That's fine.
Yeah, but it was interesting that they found them all about 10 feet below grade or below surface. Near each other. And they were broke.
Yeah.
Well,
No, time being missing tonight. Yeah. We only got 1 minute. I think that's gonna be pretty much it. It's gonna be like.
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I think it's pretty much going to continue to be
For.
just going forward.
Well.
I know they're trying, they gave me a $5 coupon.
Blasting out a little bit of the street. But most of it's clear, so I guess the thing is just like tainted or actually either way, those guys are scared to vote.
Because talking to the
They might have been places. Yeah, exactly.
you know, I mean, I don't see it right.
But they were all.
Oh, yeah.
You should have pointed that out.
I
thought that was just my fault.
No, it must have.
I felt like.
I did not even know.
I was looking at you like, oh my God.
You should have followed me because all of theirs are right.
Trying to tone down the excitement. You guys control yourselves, please. Welcome to the regular city commission meeting, April 28, 2025. We will start off with a public hearing. I'll take a motion to go into the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
and Bianski.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, the City Commission will hear public comments on the proposed amendments for the Chapter 30 Community Development, Article 2, Downtown Development Authority, Ordinance Number 2025.05/442. All persons wishing to comment shall be given the opportunity to do so. Any person addressing the Commission shall do so at the podium, state his or her name, and direct their comments directly to the Commission. In the event that many people wish to comment, as the presiding officer may determine that each person speaking shall limit his or her comments to 3 minutes. As a presiding officer, I may terminate any public comments that are unreasonably lengthy, violate the city's rules of procedure for the city commission meetings, or are unrelated to the subject of the public hearing. At this time, is there any public comments? Okay. Seeing nobody approach the podium, we'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Take a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
and Whedon.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll call to order the regular meeting. We do not currently have any recognition. If everybody would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Roll call, please.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swam,
Here.
George, Money,
Yes.
and Bianski. I got it.
Yeah, you got ahead of me. It was good.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. At this time, we will take public comment for agenda items only. Please approach the podium and state your name for the record for agenda items only, and keep your comments to 3 minutes, please. Okay, seeing nobody approach the podium. At this time, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
A second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
You're all set, Nate.
We do not have any scheduled matters from the floor. We do not have any reports from departments, committees, or boards. We do not have any unfinished business. We do not have any new business. I'm sorry, we do have new business, my apologies. New business, ordinance 2025.05/442. Consider the first reading of ordinance, amend the chapter 30, community development, article 2, for our DDA of the city code and ordinances.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
What you have before you tonight, this was in your packet a week ago, just to give you some background on this. This is the first reading of the ordinance to clean up our DDA ordinance here at the city. There were some changes in 2018, but because we didn't have an active DDA at that time, were not made. So this will bring our DDA ordinance up to the requirements of the state of Michigan.
Okay. Any conversations? Okay. I will take a motion to approve the ordinance 2025.05/442 is presented.
I'll move to approve the first reading of ordinance 2025.05/442.
Thank you. Do we have support?
Support.
Roll call, please.
George,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
and Swam.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B, 2025 road rehabilitation project. Consider awarding the bid for 2025 road rehabilitation project.
Correct. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This was the emergency paving that we talked in the springtime that went out for bid. As we discussed, this isn't like long-term fix for these roads. They're just to get them in a drivable condition for 2 to 4 years while we create a long-term funding plan for our road strategy here in the community. We had a budget of $500,000 to do this work as we started. We published the bid opportunity publicly as well as sent it directly to a couple contractors. We received 2 bids back, one from Reeve Riley in the amount of $342,282.50, and one from Michigan Paving in the amount of $405,327. At this time, we're recommending moving forward with the bid from Reeve Riley for that work. They're actually looking to mobilize here within the next week or 2 to begin work, starting with Terra Coop, so we'll be able to have that done by Memorial Day. The one thing you'll see in your motion is a request to allow the city manager to approve change orders up to 10%, just because we don't know where that final tonnage on the asphalt's gonna come in yet. But of course, that'd be brought back to you just for informational purposes with that. That way, if we needed to do some extra work, we wouldn't have to wait up to 2 weeks for a commission meeting to do that. Keeps us all within our established budget.
Very good. Conversation.
I'll move to award the bid to Reeve Riley Construction Co. Inc. in the amount of $342,282.50 with authorization for Manager McGee to execute change orders up to 10% of the original bid.
Do we have support?
I'll second. I do have a comment.
Absolutely.
If it was any other city manager, and I'm doing this on purpose, I wouldn't allow 1% fluctuation. But I very gladly give Tony the power to do this because of what he's done and what we know he can get done.
Absolutely. And I think we come in well beyond our well below our bid, original amount that we had allotted for that.
I just wanted to make mention of the other city managers that we've had the pleasure of dealing with.
We have had a good pleasure of dealing with them. Yes, we have. And in the same breath, I would like for the community and on the record to make the statement that, and for anybody out here who previews the Book of Faces, that we are doing things, and we're doing them strategically with the right money at the right time, with the right people in place. So for all the people who go out there and preview what is being said about what we're not doing, we are getting things done, and we're doing it well within our budget, and this is proof of that. So, thank you. Any other comments?
No, sir.
Roll call, please.
Bianski,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
and George.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, portable toilet facilities. Consider awarding the bid for portable toilet facilities for the 2025 season.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This is our normal toilets in the parks we do from now until basically the fall. We put the bid out publicly, sent it specifically to 3 different providers on this. We received 1 bid from Pride. That bid will total $10,780 for our entire season of parks to get us through to the fall.
Is there any that we took away from, I know we added the one at Veterans Park, is there any that we?
We've kept all we had in place and added a couple actually to support the extra activity we're seeing at the ball fields with the pickup and baseball play.
Okay.
Where was this in relation to the bid, or, well, we didn't do bids previously, which we should have been in the
Yeah,
years
we were
past.
about 8,500 last year, so considering inflationary costs we've seen over a year and we've added a few, feels like we're tracking pretty close to where we were
I
last
think
year.
when I first got on, or maybe the second year I was on, we had a public bid on it. Once again, only received a bid from this company. And it was, 7-8 grand then, so.
Yeah.
So it's in line with what we expect.
Is
I
this
don't
the same
think we-
company we've always had?
Yes, I don't think we've had anybody be competitive with them in years.
They're kinda,
I asked
different.
several of them and they told me that they just couldn't,
Yeah.
I mean, this was Bill Marks' company for the longest time,
What?
so I was, yeah.
Deal?
And, yeah, he doesn't anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not Bill Marks, excuse me, Bill Green.
Oh,
My bad. I'm sorry.
Well, either
I
one,
thought,
right?
why you were getting so excited?
I didn't know he owned that one either.
Yeah, well, we were all interested.
But he's
You had
very
our-
well associated.
You had our
let's just say.
attention.
Okay.
But I've had some complaints, but I don't personally see, and I go into some of them just to see. There hasn't been too much of an issue with cleaning them up.
It's usually
or keeping
vandals,
them
right?
clean. So I mean, I don't have any issues at all, so,
yeah, it takes one person to go in there and destroy it in between
exactly.
regular scheduled cleaning. Unfortunately, somebody's gonna see there before we get there.
Yeah, and I personally talked to the guy in Niles, and I don't remember what service that is, but it's out there by the airport. And it's the big name one, and he wouldn't come close to it.
Georgia?
Yeah. That's a long time ago that I talked to him.
Okay.
All right, very good. I'll take a motion to move forward with the bid for the Pride Portable Toilet Company.
Also move.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Winovsky?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so excited about it. Yes.
I like this guy.
Swam
Yes.
and George.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D, National Register of Historic Places. Consider awarding a bid for the Days Avenue Historic District National Registry of Historic Places.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
This is a program we've done several times in the past. We received a $5,000 grant from the Gateway Foundation that will match with $4,800 in local money. We put it out to bid, receiving 3 bids ranging between $9,800 and $27,608. We recommend award to the low bidder, Kurt Grover Heritage Preservation, who has done our previous work before.
I don't understand everything I know about this.
Either.
We're giving them money so that they can say we're part of their program.
Peter's got it.
Peter, I'll allow you to. No, go ahead, Peter.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Dan?
I don't understand why we gotta give them $10,000, $20,000. I mean, this is an operation from Indiana. The highest bid was from Lansing, I believe, wasn't it? Just sounds shafty, for lack of any other way of putting it. What are we getting for our $10,000?
He will prepare the nomination for the historic district, which will then be approved at the state level and the federal level, and then we'll have another historic district along Days Avenue, Redbud, and Berrien Street.
Is there associated fees that for this gentleman or this company to do so? Is that the rationale for the cost?
Yeah, that's it. You think of it as a professional services, just like hire a lawyer, an engineer.
But he's doing research on, well, okay, if we backtrack, the north and west neighborhoods that Pam O'Connor did more than 10 years ago, I mean, that was a $30,000 project.
Oh.
And that was, 800, I think, structures needed to be assessed, and she wrote histories for over 100 of them. So this is a smaller version of that, but the same approach. I mean, he has to do photography, he has to compose the nomination, but most importantly, has to research a significant number of the structures to explain why they're historically significant and explain the architectural styles in order to justify the district.
Perfect.
So what's I know we've been doing this for a while, but what do we get out of our investment in this other than research? I mean, these properties are eligible or?
Well, we had historic register now, so it's national advertising in a sense. People seek out historic districts to visit, so it facilitates heritage tourism. There are tax credits for people commercial entities that do historic preservation on their structures that meet Secretary of Interior standards. They do improvements, repairs or improvements. So I think I heard Randy is contemplating applying for tax credits on his building. And so it's helping out the property owners if they can get tax credits. And that helps the neighborhood because people know that they can, if they invest in it, that they might get money back from the government. So
Okay.
That comes with some extremely stringent bylaws, though, doesn't it?
well, if you do your work according to Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation in most cases, you get the tax credit. And yeah, your work does have to, you do have to go through several hoops, but it's doing the right thing as well. I mean, if you want to put replacement windows on your house, you're probably not going to get the tax credits. If you repair your existing windows or replicate some that are beyond repair, then that's a project that would be eligible for the tax credit for commercial ventures.
Well, I appreciate the explanation, because I always weigh the pros and the cons.
Randy, do you want to give more additional context?
I just thought that it would be easy. I think there's a clarification point. You guys are wondering whether or not your investment in Kirk Gardner, which I wanted to clarify that it was a wrong name, is worth it. A nomination doesn't mean that it's going to get approved, right? So he's doing all this research in preparation for something that you would hope would get approved. And because he's good at what he does, he gets a lot of these through. He did the Clark complex. And just so you guys are aware, the DDA attempted to do it twice, and it wasn't done.
I think he did the cemetery for us.
Yes.
He's done several properties. He's also working with us for Ross Sanders.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good use of funds, but it's a nomination, doesn't mean it's going to be approved.
Although,
And it's privately funded, it looks like.
Yeah.
We're just the
all of it
fiduciary, and
eventually.
half of it's privately funded.
4,800 city. So really, in its essence, and this started last year, this initiative to do this for my Rob. What I can tell you is, what it does is basically move the city forward if it wants to create another historic district here in the community. This is the first step to do that.
Well, and just in terms of financing, Kurt is actually doing another historic district for the mill race and the mill. And the Preservation Society is paying for that. That's $4,000. But this is sort of a package deal, so for whatever it comes out to, 13.8 is the total cost. Preservation Society is paying $4, Gateway is paying $5, and then the city would pay $48.
Correct.
And I'm not really opposed to this, I want to make that perfectly clear, but I'm just trying to get everybody that's sitting in these chairs to start asking these questions. Every time we spend $10,000, where's our bang for our buck? I mean, the National Registry is not necessarily a great thing as far as I'm concerned, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And, as far as when you get into the real deep parts of it, if you try to keep your building historical, the tax credits, the government don't give nothing away.
Right.
So I just want to make that very clear. So be very careful if you go for the tax credits, because you might find out, you can do it the right way and still save yourself a boatload of money by not going for the government's credits.
Right.
So,
But at the same time, it keeps the historical value of the community and puts it in the National Registry, and I think that, that's the intent of Buchanan from the very beginning.
does it keep any more of the buildings from actually being tore down? It doesn't, does it?
Only if federal funds are involved.
Okay.
So if federal funds are involved in a project, then they have to do a special review. If in the historic district, in the
Right.
National Register district, there has to be a special review to make sure that it doesn't have a disparate bad impact on the district.
Okay.
Do we have any, that's a good question though, do we have any properties in the district that we would have concerns on related to that?
You mean for federal funding?
Yeah, or
I guess they would have to apply for federal funding, and that means they're fixing it up, so I guess that's kind of a mute
Like
point.
you're putting through a road, for
Sure,
example.
I
we
got
have
you.
federal funds for that. And it is, we're really asking only for 4,800
Sure.
from the city, not 10,000, because Gateway is giving the other 5.
We're still asking you to approve the 9,000 because we still have to pay it out through,
And
the
then
grant
we-
will come through us and then we'll repay it through that. Yeah.
And there's no, Buchanan's not gonna mandate this of our buildings downtown, where I was in one community in Indiana, where you couldn't do anything to your building without going through the Preservation Society. So replacing a door was a major, or a window, you know, so.
That sounds like a local historic district, which is a different type of historic district. And
Okay.
they're a local organization, like a historic society or a preservation board, does have control over what people can do to the exterior of their buildings. But that's not this.
Right. I just wanna clarify that, that's not what we're doing.
So they had to give them the power, so the commission of that city had to give the Preservation
Yeah.
Society or somebody of that nature
So
power
yeah,
to do
this
so.
way.
Right, so, okay. Peter, thank you so much to put you on the hot seat, I appreciate it. Okay, at this time, we'll take a motion to approve the bid.
I'll move to award the bid to Kurt Garner, Heritage Preservation, for $9,800 as presented.
Thank you, do we have support?
I'll support.
Roll call, please.
Whedon,
Yes,
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
and Bianski.
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. Item E, construction project updates.
So there's just been a lot of stuff going on in the community. We're really starting to pick up a full swing, so I just want to update you guys and the members of the audience what's going on right now. It's a little graphic we put together here. I'm gonna start here on the 2 projects are gonna finish up first. That is gonna be the McCoy's Creek Trail Extension and the reconstruction of Shermer Parkway from River Street to the trailhead there. Those will be, you'll see the work on Shermer Parkway begin within the next week. That'll be done in 4 weeks. So really by, nothing goes awry, we expect that trail, that work over there to be done by May 30th. So right now, the traffic is still accessible through there. Once they start work, it'll be closed to everybody who doesn't live on that street, but school buses, delivery drivers, the residents of that street will have access to their properties at all time. We just won't be able to use it as a cut through like we do now, but that'll be moving here in the next week, that'll go into full construction there. Moving over to Hoven Wall through here, if you've been through there recently, they're starting to make some good progress on that. Same thing, we expect that to be closed up at the end of this month and that road open. So once we get those 2 projects done, that will take a lot of relief off the system right now, because with the significance of the downtown project and those 2 areas being key places in and out of town, it just makes it a little clunky right now. So when those get done, it'll get a lot better. As we move to what we're calling the downtown project, there's 2 colors here. The gold is what's under construction right now. They're pushing hard to get sewer down to here to connect into the Kalen stuff next month. Unfortunately, we've had to shut sewer work down on that site right now because we found hazardous amounts of lead. We have extra testing going on. Hopefully, we'll get the all clear to continue work on that here this week. What it is, it's just gonna be a matter of what protective measures the contractor has to put in place with the people while they're working. So we're figuring out what the exposure level is. This area through here is where you're gonna see the slowest work, what I will call up by Edgewater, all the way down to City Hall here. That is really, really deep sewer, and that is where we found the lead at. Even without the contamination problems, they can only move at about 70 to 90 feet per day laying pipe, because that sewer pipe is over 20 feet down there, and they're dealing with some nasty soils. So that's why it's going so slow through there right now, is it's just a really tough area to build in. So they're working on that, we're hoping to get that back up and running this week. Other than that, water services are starting to go through, and those are starting to be changed out. We've had a couple people lose water because their service wasn't where everybody thought it was, which is not uncommon in older communities like this, and you go to work on these things, but we're dealing with that as it comes up. That's all moving pretty well through there. They'll be connecting into there at the end of May. May 19th is where things are downtown, is projected to get ripped up downtown streets for everybody. That last 2 weeks of May with downtown ripped up, Hoven Wall still going, and Shermer is gonna be our most difficult time in this project. From there to the 1st of June, it just is, it's a reality. But guys, here's the reality, here's where we're at. We're playing 5-card stud, if you're using it for analogy. We have the 5 cards we have in our hands. There's no giving 3 back. We just have to figure out how to work through this, and we're doing our best to communicate.
Where's
So-
Beth at? We need her for Facebook.
I think at this point, you know, Mike, I know your team's doing an amazing job of trying to thwart off all of the issues. I mean, right now, Liberty being our, like, number one, which you never thought that would be the, I mean, we live up there, and never would've thought that'd be the number 1 thoroughfare, but, if we could give that some love this week.
We were there today.
Okay.
Every time we grind it off, it brings a lot of dust to the top.
It does.
And then now we got the people complaining because it's dusty.
Right.
But we are just literally trying to move what we can off of there back into the holes.
Yep, that's what I figured.
It's,
It's tough.
but as Tony said, we're gonna approve this contract for, they're coming here to do it. So hopefully,
It'll be happening
and then
very
we'll have
shortly.
a name that they're gonna start or do that all at the same.
Yeah, no, and I get it, this is not to beat you up, it's
Yeah.
we're battling with the entire city going through one street, so.
What is the timeline for like a road to get in from the work we did earlier? It's like a Liberty Street.
Oh, that one, I would expect that to be done by the end of May. This next month it'll be done. If they're mowed, middle part of May, I would think. So we're gonna be at the 1st of May here in a couple of days. They'll be mowing up, they'll mill off, Terra first, they wanna get that done for Memorial Day. From there, they'll bounce over to Liberty. So I would expect them to be there the 2nd or 3rd week of May, getting that gravel off and getting the asphalt in there.
Cool.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, candidly, Liberty Street should have been done last fall. Knowing that that was gonna be our detour route, that should have been a project that was done last fall in anticipation of work this spring, so we're playing a little bit of catch up on that.
And in the
Over by the
downtown,
library.
well, before you get that too far down, I will have one more question on
Okay.
the street. So, will Redbud be open back up, at least partially torn up, when Front Street's shut down at all?
Towards the end, but not, there won't, yeah,
Fall?
yeah. Yep, so yeah, we've got a lot of good work going there, but it's gonna push a minute.
Okay.
Well, that's a direct route to your main route out front, so I mean, they're not gonna open that up because it's gonna cause too much confusion. You know, you don't let them back in after you shut them out.
Well, I guess, yeah, the whole
Those children,
intersection is
dogs,
shut
cats,
down.
whatever.
Yeah,
Let
that's
them out, just keep them out.
That whole
Yeah,
intersection.
that Redbud intersection with Front Street is gonna be the most difficult part of this project, and it
Right.
takes the longest. There is a ton of stuff going on there utility-wise, and it goes from shallow to really deep. You're gonna see guys sitting in that intersection, working for what feels like forever.
Yeah,
Oh, no, Facebook,
that's right.
the culvert down by the library.
Also, I was gonna switch over to, I'll do that right now. That is running about 2 weeks behind schedule. We do have liquidated damages in our contract, I verified that today. I am waiting for the new schedule from the contractor to see when they'll be officially done. They are working with us though today, because obviously the farmer's market starts this weekend. They're cleaning up the site, constricting down a little bit to make it so the farmer's market can run as well. Met with the farmer's market folks today, we feel like we got a really good plan on that, and they've already started addressing, but yeah, we're running about 2 weeks behind on that project right now.
Was it just normal fixing junk?
They've had some breakdowns, they've had some junk, it's a myriad of reasons, but we'll go through, I mean, they're legitimate weather days, and we had some weather this spring, they don't get LDs on that, but they do get them on shutdowns for equipment, that's not our fault, so we will go down and do the back and forth on that and see where that comes out. As we move into the rest of the downtown project, ideally, that's not all gonna be tore up at once, because we think where McCoy Creek is, half the utilities start the creek and go east, the other half go to the west. So right now, their plan is to rip up the east side, get the utilities going there, filled in, then rip up the west side, do the utilities and filled in. So if everything goes right, we're not gonna have everything downtown totally ripped up at once, and some of it will still be accessible while we're working on the one half. Now, the one thing, mainly, we talked about this for the public, for anybody who's listening. Everybody always goes, why do they keep opening up the same street 3 times? And there's a reason why. You start with your deepest utility, which is sanitary sewer. So they run their sanitary sewer from the low point to the high point of the project. Low point being the plant, they run everything down there to Front Street. Then they're gonna come through and do all their water lines through everything. Then they're gonna come through and do all their storm lines through everything. If we were to just open up one block and do all the lines and try to coordinate and all that, we would take an $18 million project and make it a $60 million project. So the reason you do the utilities, like, it's just the most efficient, cost-effective way to do it. That's why you'll see the same block ripped up and filled 3 times before they pave it. That's just standard practice, but every one of these I've ever been involved with in my life, that's always been a question that comes up. And we talked a little about this here at the chamber dinner the other night. It's rough. It's not easy to do this kind of stuff, guys. It's something you do only every 40 years, and everybody remembers why they don't like doing it more than every 40 years. And I can guarantee what everybody in this community is feeling. When you were talking about doing this project, everybody was very excited. We need a facelift. This is all great. As it started to get closer to doing the project, everybody's getting nervous. What's this going to mean? How's it going to impact us? Really feeling that right now. I'm going to tell you right now, by July, August, we're going to feel like the world is ending. We're going to feel like this is going to be the end of the community. We're going to get to November, and we're all going to look back and go, it could have been worse. That really is, having done this several times before, kind of the emotional ride you're going to go on with this project. The upside is what we get as a final product when we're done is going to be a much better city than we had before. The biggest thing I can talk to you guys in the community about is what's going on is what's going to happen. There is no change. The best thing we can do is not snip at each other about things that aren't based in reality that's out there, but to support each other. You know, instead of buying something on Amazon, go to Red Barn Hardware, go to the bookstore. Maybe instead of cooking at home, go to one of the restaurants out one night. You know what I mean? Do some of that thing to support your neighbors, support your friends. That's what's going to carry us through this. There's nobody from the outside going to come in and say it. It is our community, and it's up to us to support each other. We can make a choice as a community. We can tear down at each other, or we can work together and support each other. And that, more than anything, is going to dictate how these projects go for us. So, got a little bit of soapbox on the other, apologize for that, but that's what's going on with the projects. It's a lot going on, guys. This is almost $5 million worth of construction underway in this community between all of this. One of the communities I just worked in before I was here is Grand Haven, a community that's 3 times the size. They never did this much construction in the summer. So we're taking on a lot, but it's because we've not done anything for 20 plus years. When you're in the mode of doing a project every year or 2 of a decent size, you don't have to rip everything up at once. When you wait till everything is failing at the same time, unfortunately, you get to what we are dealing with today and having this amount of town ripped up. The only thing else I'll talk about is on the McCoy's Creek Trail Expansion Project. I've heard a lot of comments about why are we doing this project when our roads look so bad. The funding being used for this trail project isn't allowed to be used for roads. It is money meant for this kind of stuff. So if we didn't grab that money to do this trail, it would have just got spent in another community somewhere here in our county. So it's not like we're doing a trail at the expense of a road. We're doing everything we can on the roads right now and building a trail on top of it that we're not using general fund money for. So just wanted to touch on that because I've heard a lot of talk about that out in the community. So that's what I have on roads. If you guys have any questions, just give you an update. Just keep in mind, really, the mid-end of May is going to be our biggest time. That's where we're going to have paving going on as well.
Very good.
I just wanna, don't waste too much energy, please, trying to educate students. Because I've done it a couple times on Facebook. I don't care, Calvin. I mean, how many times, it's always the same people. It's always the same people. And I message them, and next day, it's like the chickens just woke up, and it's a brand new day. And everything they did yesterday is forgotten.
It's like Groundhog's Day over and over.
Yep.
All right.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, and stay off Facebook,
Amen.
unless you wanna get mad.
Yeah. I mean, that's not what all the facts are.
I mean, that was supposed to be a supportive kind of talk there.
It was very supportive.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Review of draft budget.
So you have a draft budget in your package and probably a little more background than you've had the last few years and kind of the numbers and where we're at and everything else, but trying to get you guys up to speed with what we got going on right now. I'm just gonna spend a few minutes on this tonight to give you guys some highlights. Here's the overall budget, what we're looking at. We're right now projecting general fund revenues of $3.9 million, about $300,000 more than before. Interest income, we're seeing go down a little bit because interest rates are changing, the environment's not as friendly. So we're projecting to lose about $70,000 there. made sure my local streets are trending about where they are, keeping them a little light, be conservative. We expect those to hopefully be a little higher. Water and sewer revenue, we actually are going a little conservative on as well. On the revenue side, I'd like to go a little more conservative, so if we beat expectations, it's more than expected. And on the expense side, I like to go a little bit heavier. That way, at the end of the year, you're looking pretty good. Overall, we're looking at a net revenue expense of about $2.02 million this year versus 3.6 of last year. As you look below that, we're getting a significant increase in our debt service from this current year. We're going from about 1.3 million in debt service to $1.8 million in debt service. And that's reflective of all this construction work we have going on here. The box below that is all the things from our strategic planning session for the budget we had about a month ago. As you can see, everything that we have talked about that was worked in there. Maybe not always a level we want, like the sidewalk program, we have $50,000 in for that, we'd love to put 100. We just don't have that comfortably right now to do that.
So these are budgeted?
Those are all budgeted items. I just want to call them out for you guys so you know they were in there.
Okay.
So there's a lot of deferred capital stuff we're picking up this year. A few things that we didn't talk about that have come to light since then, just so you know, is when we had that bad storm, we realized we have no way to work backup operations as a city. We have no buildings that have a backup generator that can drive everything. Mike has one at the Public Works building. Our idea the next morning was to work there, and we found out that only the overhead lights are tied to it, no receptacles, no Wi-Fi.
It's supposed to be emergency use only.
Yeah, so really just lights. So that we see in there is to try to get that building to the point that if we lost power, we would have an emergency operations center for staff to be able to go to and work out of. And that will be our least costly building, because there's already a generator there to get set up for that. So that's something we have not seen before. You will notice that we have $100,000 in there for Catherine Park still, so get the grant or not, we'll be able to do that project and check that off the list this year. And then
That's
there's,
from saved money.
what's that?
That's in our capital account.
Yeah, just so that, the community is aware that this is money we've allotted.
Yeah, so you'll see on the right-hand side there, that not all this is general fund money for this budget, it is things pulling from different accounts that we have available to access. So, right now, we're projecting to come in with an excess of about $143,000 this year. Now, when we do our budget, if we come in over what we established for the budget, the state makes us write a letter that we didn't think. So what you'll see is this $140,000 gets salted away in the budget, just as almost a contingency. So anything unanticipated, we don't look like we're out of budget. So when you get your final one, you'll see that number looking lower than what you're seeing right now, down to about $10,000 or something like that. So this is a broad overview. Just to give you an idea of kind of where it goes, put these charts together for you guys. This first one here, this is our overall budget. This is everything. This is enterprise funds, money we get from MDOT, general fund money. It is all the revenue that comes into the city. As you can see from this, about 50% of that money goes to water, sewer, streets, public works, all those operations there. The physical assets of our community. Right now, if you look at what I would call essential services, police, fire, water, sewer, streets, cemetery, that is about 77% of our overall budget. The remaining 23% is the clerk's office, city manager, our community development activities, our incentive programs, all that sort of stuff makes up just under a quarter of our budget. So that's kind of just a broad brush stroke of what we look at overall as a budget. And we'll go much deeper in this when we do the final budget. If you go to the next page, it's showing you just what the general fund budget is. When you pull out the enterprise fund money for the water and wastewater stuff, it changes kind of where you see. Our biggest user at that point is the police department at 37%. As you guys know, I worked in several different cities before joining the team here in Buchanan. That's pretty typical to what every city is seeing in that department. We're not an outlier in what we have going to general fund money on that. But this should give you an idea overall where the general fund money goes. When we do the final budget, then we'll get more in detail into this. We'll also look at where our revenue comes in from, because I hear a lot about our 17 mills that we get in terms of taxes. Not all of that comes to the city, and I think it's important for people to get educated in terms of where that goes. So we actually have a workup to see how much goes to the county, the library, the state, the schools. And when you see really what we get, it's not as much as that as you would think that funds us up here. So going into the year with all the construction stuff we have going on, we're just going with a tight budget. We don't wanna overcommit. We still don't know what unknown things we're gonna get into out here on the construction project. And quite frankly, after this year of everything we're doing, it's a good year to hit a reset. Look how we're doing things structurally and operationally. Hit some of our capital needs, basic stuff like chippers and mowers, and just kind of hit a reset to make our plan to move forward. There will be a little bit of restructuring going on. You'll see community development's a bigger chunk than it was from one year to the next. That is because building, grounds, code, all that's gonna move into our community development, capital stuff for the parks, which aligns us more with how other communities in the state of Michigan do it of our size. So that's why you see the budget grow there from one year to the other. It's not necessarily we're throwing more money there, it's just what we're putting under that operating area and how we're showing it.
Right.
That's just a quick overview to meet our requirement for a draft budget to meet you guys. We'll go very in-depth on this when we do it, but wanted to get this in front of you, and there's a ton of backup that was in your packet to kind of see what drives all this. Hopefully it wasn't too much, but I want to give you guys a good what's driving these numbers you see.
No, I appreciate the overview.
Is there any way to project how much our wood stove is gonna save us for the DPW? I mean,
Well,
is it gonna balance itself out with everything we have to buy?
it's hard to know because you don't have a baseline, right, on how much that facility, we know we're saving $5,000 a month in rent.
Yeah, but I mean, what about your heat bill? I mean, you can compare it directly to your gas bill.
Yeah, let me look at that. There's gotta be something we can do. I mean, not, because there's so many factors, as you know, how cold was the winter, how, but there's gotta be some efficiency things on it that, let me look into that.
I mean, it's not a, you know, it's just a numbers thing for me, but, and Niles has been doing it for 8 or 9 years now, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got it figured out, because he was pretty adamant about how much he was capable of spending, because he's got the wood stove, because you're not paying for anything.
Right.
I mean, you're paying for the boiler
So, yeah,
and the water.
let me look at what the efficiency is, and I'm sure I can come up with something on that.
Thank you.
Moving on to expenditures, consider approving expenditures in the amount of $168,483.93.
Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Commissioner Magansky called me earlier about it, sorry, it was actually 2 tires on that one.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I correct myself on that, I gave you the,
All right, well,
Must have been all.
I'll leave that one alone. It's for a future date. There wasn't really much of anything else. I mean, we're paying the landfill right now, but we're getting all that back.
100% of that will come back to us.
I mean, you know, could I take the lead samples and put in the test results? That probably wouldn't work either, would it?
You gotta go to a certified lab.
I
And quite honestly, I'm
I
not
put
sure
on
you
lab
want,
coat.
not sure you want to touch
go.
this one.
We did that for 2 years. We tried that in America. It didn't work.
Where did the lead come from?
I mean, outside the, some answer it ground, some kind of operational thing that was over there, we don't know what though, I mean.
Is it right down here?
It's right over on the creek where we're doing that crossing at the creek, right up in that area.
So that's right there where the foundry was at, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, where everything was filled.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, it's a hodgepodge of what's in there, your guess is as good as mine, the source on it.
So have they found the boundaries of it yet? Okay.
That's what we're waiting for test results to come back on, they'll give us a better idea.
Right.
We have test result things from different areas.
Because all they have to do, it doesn't throw us into having to transport it all because we got a bad reading at one spot. As long as our lead levels drop, we can go back to where we're done.
And then, well, yeah, we can, and then they're just gonna require us to landfill the pothole every so often.
Right.
Just ahead of the work, just to make sure we're in good soil still.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I'll move to approve expenditures in the amount of $168,483.93 as presented.
Thank you. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Swam,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Gasky,
Yes.
and Whedon.
Yes. Thank you. We do not have any communications, and we will take public comment on non-agenda items. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and approach the podium and state your name for the record, please.
Okay, this is kind of like my motivational speech that I'm gonna get up here and talk about. Basically for like the businesses downtown, you know, seen a lot on Facebook how people are boycotting businesses and whatnot. Being open the past 2 weekends, and only having one of our roads out of the 3 we used to have to get to our business, I have not had one person come and say, I almost didn't come to you because the roads were closed. I have not had a single person complain about the roads being closed. We still have seen probably just as much people as we did last season, and it's April. We're not even to the warm season yet. So I think just being positive, being a business owner downtown is definitely going to help keep people coming to your business. Like I told everybody on Facebook, if somebody wants to come to your business, they'll come. If somebody wants to eat dinner somewhere, if they wanna go shopping somewhere, a little bit of driving around the block isn't gonna stop them. I can't parallel park, so I drive around the block 10 times to get anywhere anyways, and, it doesn't stop me, so I think just, and I will say, we had a lot of, business owners from downtown come support us in getting ice cream. We still do support all of our local businesses downtown. Even our real estate office, we still see people, the same amount of traffic coming. It's not stopping people. I think people just watch too much on what's happening on the internet, and if you just pay more attention to what's going on in-house than out-of-house, they'll be better off. That's all I got.
Amen.
I
Thank you.
want to say something to that. I do police Facebook on purpose, just to troll them. And some of them are not even from the state,
Literally.
No.
so.
We've seen a lot of people say, oh, people aren't gonna move to Buchanan because of this. I have not had a single client tell me that they wanna
We don't
move
want
out of
people,
Buchanan.
yeah, we
or
got too many of them
into
already.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
tell them thank you.
Hi guys, Randy Hendrickson, commercial property owner in the city. Keeping with the positive comments, I would just like to take 30 seconds to thank our city manager, Tony McGee. I have thrown so much at this guy. Every time he gets a text or a phone call or email, he's gotta be saying, oh man, there's more than Randy in this town, right? So I just wanted to take a second. Every curveball I've thrown at him, everything I've asked him, it's been yes. I didn't expect the yes, but it's been a yes. It's how do we figure out a solution? How do we get around this problem? Sense of urgency is there. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank Tony. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our DPW. I mean, these guys are, seconds. Not minutes, not hours, not days, seconds to respond to things, which is impressive. As a commercial property owner right downtown, you see a lot of stuff, just being out in your own backyard, so to speak. And it's amazing how much stuff these guys get done and how present they are in our community. So just wanted to keep the positivity going and thank the commission for hiring and keeping and retaining our good staff.
Thank you.
I got it on my list.
Okay. Seeing no more public comments? Oh, Michael?
I don't know if you all know, Jim Dvorak passed away last night.
Yeah.
He was a huge part of our community with the kids and school, and he had a massive heart attack last night and passed away. So please keep the Dvorak family in your prayers. Jim was a huge part, like comparable to Jerry Funner in the schools. So please keep them in your prayers.
Thank you, Michael. Okay, seeing no more public comments, executive comments?
Keep it short, you've heard me talk enough. Just who have not heard it, Munchin Mondays opens again, second Monday in June on the 9th. To be taken over by the Chamber of Commerce in partnership with the city. They're gonna be doing the actual management of that. We're gonna take care of the regulatory side here on this end. So we'll be able to keep that going through then. Other than that, to everybody else, I just wanna thank the staff. You guys are absolutely incredible. I wanna thank you guys, the support you've given me in the 3.5 months I've been here has been outstanding. Just the reception from the community in general, I couldn't be happier than that, so thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Ms. George?
I just want to start by saying thank you to Haley for coming in here and letting us hear something positive, because you surely don't hear that on Facebook. And then Randy too. Thanking all the staff and Tony and this commission. It's a pleasure to work with you guys always. It's really nice to have a community that really cares about each other and really cares about the generations ahead in this city. There's so many people that I could think of just right now that just constantly volunteer hours, like literally one end of the spectrum to the other. Like, they just do whatever they can to make this a better place to live, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to let everybody know May 3rd, this Saturday, starting at 9 a.m. is Park Cleanup Day with the Barb, and lunch will be provided down there, and then we're meeting at the Commons, and it's also opening weekend for the Farmers Market. And also, I wanted to go back and thank you for letting us know about the trail extension and where those funds come from, because I know that that has been like a major disarray of people like not really fully knowing where that money comes from, and there's just a big misunderstanding there. So if somebody comments on Facebook, maybe share this video and maybe put the time slot where Tony talked. But just want to thank you for educating that or educating us with that, and yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Swim?
Spring cleaning season's upon us, so you have many basically free assets to you as residents that you can take advantage of this time of year, starting with this weekend. Friday, Saturday is our dump day, so there'll be tons and tons of dumpsters at the River Street parking lot. You can bring most everything, no paint, no Freon. I think those might be the only two heavy hitters. But if you got something like that, the very next weekend, May 10th, is Hazardous Waste Day at the landfill. So another free Saturday opportunity to get rid of some more of your junk. And if that's not good enough, you have one free voucher per property to where you can get rid of even more of your stuff. So as you look to beautify your property, you can save a ton of money by taking advantage of those opportunities through the city. And on top of that, you have, I believe it's bi-weekly yard waste cleanup, storm damage cleanup. Looking at Mike, but he's not giving me the yes. I know I take advantage of it.
It is going.
Yes, so clean up and do it as, cost effective as you can. Only other item I had tonight, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this earlier, Dan, but do you mind talking with Planning Commission about maybe looking at revising our street parking ordinance for at least the non-snow season, and kind of seeing what you guys could kick around there, especially with limited parking downtown? Maybe we can pick up some side street, maybe if it's just one side, or some ideas there, because there's a lot of no parking on the roads and
Seasonal.
something to
I'm
talk
not
about.
familiar with it at all, so I'll have to look at it, but yeah, I think we're having our regular meeting, aren't we?
Yeah, what that the agenda be like?
Yeah, and
So it
just
should be, I mean, we,
talking about it.
we changed it down by the ballpark.
Did you?
50 years.
Oh, yeah,
Changed it
last
to no
year.
parking,
Right.
because an ambulance couldn't go around the block,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, if you look at the entire city and just,
yeah.
You can't park on a lot of it, or at least.
Overnight, I mean, I did get a parking ticket, or my wife got a parking ticket. First one I've seen in 5 years, and I mean, we're pretty guilty of doing that. And it went from $5 to $25.
Right.
But I think, the street parking should also encompass between 2 and 6, though, giving a ticket to a guy that's in his driveway, but he's covering the sidewalk, you get kind of dicey there.
Right.
So, but I would like to see a lot more tickets. I'd like to see a lot more code enforcement. I'd like to see a lot more participation by everybody that works for the city. I mean, I got a neighbor that raked leaves into the street. I yelled at her, today, and I said, hey, you're not gonna pick them up. Put them in paper bags, like everybody else on the block's got them in paper bags,
Right.
but she doesn't like me anyhow, so I just added to it.
Yeah. Just some ideas. We have a lot of downtown that you can't park on the street, so.
They don't like me.
that's a growing list, I'm sure.
I do have a couple things, if you're done.
I'm done. That was it.
Mr. Bianski?
The county, is the county actually looking at one voting for north and south?
Yes.
And why would that be?
There's no grant money coming in from the state, they've already told us, for early voting, so.
Yeah, but how much money's involved?
A lot. You gotta think about just even this past time for November, it was $12,000 for us, and that was with grant money.
Sorry, while you're on that topic, Dan, not to interrupt, but weren't we kicking around the idea of just doing ourselves
You're
because of
kicking
lack of
around.
participation?
I'm kicking around the idea, the only concern that I have is because it's 9 days, plus it goes straight into, so that Sunday goes straight into Monday for me, which is my prep day before election day. My biggest concern is if something happens to me, in that time period. I have nobody to cover because I'm the only accredited election official.
It's two sets, not one.
And it's two, well, and no, because I can combine into one. So I can make early voting here at City Hall, but then we have to worry about meeting schedules as well. I have to worry about election workers. I have enough election workers and we have enough staff. But I've also kicked around the ideas with Niles Charter Township and Niles City as well. So we're kind of in between. I really would like to stay with the county just because then I'm not, I mean, I did 114 hours the week of election and I can't imagine if I was on my own, how many hours I would do. It's really, but I'm all about the money. So
Who's the most central? It would be Berrien Springs, wouldn't it?
Berrien Springs would be more central, but the problem is, do you have a big enough facility that you don't have to rent? And you could look at Berrien Risa, which is what I think they were kicking around, but you have to have that site for at least 14 days, even though it's 9 days of early, you gotta think about setup as well, and tear down.
That's a government entity, can't we just say,
Depends
it's
on
ours?
what the charge is rent. If the county owned a facility that could be big enough to do that, then
well,
they
the
would have-
taxpayers do own it.
Well, technically, but
Well, I didn't wanna get off on that, but I seen that and I thought, I was down there so directly, and I mean, this is taxpayer ignorance by voting that in. There was nothing
Agreed.
better about it.
Right.
Absolutely nothing better about it.
100%.
But everybody thought it was gonna be so much better. And the working man pays for yet another really good decision. The electric voice, I wanted to speak up about that. This gentleman, if you haven't drove down past electric voice, you need to, just for sightseeing issues. He has busted his butt down there, and we have not seen him in here at all, which I personally feel is a good thing, you know, in my opinion. Cause he's not down here begging us for help or anything else. He's fixing that building up. He's cleaning that building up. He's painting that building up. He's renting that facility out, and he's working with the baseball kids, you know. But that was the two things I really wanted to work with, you know, and as I do want to mention Facebook. I do message them privately. That seems to work the best. Soon as you put a public comment out there to the Rambos, you know, they're not gonna meet you at dawn at the duck pond to, you know, have a standoff. They're just Rambos, they're mouth. And so it doesn't do any good to go out there publicly. All you do is give them some ammunition for their garbage. And I have messaged about 10. And only one reply saying I singled her out. And I said, no, I did not single you out. I just singled out the noisiest, worst ones. That's all I got.
Thank you very much. I don't have anything additional. I think the other commissioners, I guess I do. Thank you to Dan, Larry, and Patrick, and Raquel. Once again, this is probably one of the most productive and communicative commissions I've been on. Tony, thank you so much, and all of your staff. Regardless of what the public thinks, and I know majority of them don't live here and don't go to these businesses, they don't interact with us, they don't even know who we are, half of them. If they did, if they knew who we were, they know we're giving them facts, more facts than they've ever gotten. So, thank you so much. Thank you to you guys, even Dan, Miss Congeniality. So, at that time, I will take a motion to adjourn. We have support. Roll call, please.
George,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Densmore,
Yes.
your turn.
Thank you.
The other thing, do we have anything to vote on this May? We don't.
Not for May.
What's in August?